Welcome to the final chapter. We made it to 10. This has been just something we've been working on for a while to actually pull off. We did it. Thanks for staying with us and joining us on this journey. Hopefully it has been beneficial. We know you read the book, but we wanted to just take time to pull things to the surface, spend a little more time talking about things that we couldn't put in the book or didn't think of at the time or what have you, but we are actually just honored to be able to spend some time pouring into your success. So this last chapter is a series of, inspiring stories, really. I mean, we've paid attention to some people that have built a culture of honor in their businesses and or in their leadership environments, their families, wherever it might be. And let's talk about a couple. Let's talk about the Clemson crew.
We just finished the national championship season in 2017 and 18, and Clemson was right there again.
Right there again.
And this year they lost to Alabama in the semifinals, but in 2016-17 they beat Alabama in the national championship game. And I've watched a lot of sports in my life, and I know you have too. But the interview with Dabo Swinney, the head coach of Clemson, after was remarkable because through his tears, he said that he told his team at halftime that they were going to win. He said they didn't know how he didn't know how they were going to win, but they were going to win because of love. And here's this man standing next to a 300-pound.
When was the last time you heard a football coach
talk about love?
Talking about love.
Right. But they did. The breaks went their way, and they won at the last minute. And Dabo Swinney has an incredible story of a broken home and alcoholic dad and a mom that actually lived with him while he went to college at Alabama. And while he was a player, won a national championship there back in the day. But it was just such an amazing thing as Danny and I talked about love in business, vulnerability in business, intimacy in business, mothering and fathering in business. These were the soft side of the business world that doesn't get talked about too much. And when I saw Dabo just give credit to love and to the Lord, I thought, wow, what a great way to...
What a great leadership culture.
Oh my gosh.
And the young men coming through, and he's one of those coaches that you would hope that your son would come across, because he's a John Wooden kind of guy that's just going to wreck your life. He's just going to give you a infrastructure and whatever orphan thing was on you before you met this guy. This guy, as a father, reaches in and grabs you by the heart and speaks truth to you.
And the amazing thing about him is he grew up in a broken family with an angry father.
Sounds familiar.
Right. And had this orphan mindset.
Yeah.
And somehow he was able to conquer that. And you hear stories from ex-players who say, that man loved me more than anyone ever had. He was the toughest coach I've ever had, and he required so much of me. And if I didn't know better, I thought he was mad at me. But you hear these athletes who have come through his programs, his whole coaching career, talking about this, the love and the safety and the acceptance that he was able to give.
I spent a fair amount of time in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm always amazed at the impact of the Chick-fil-A culture.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, every time I come across some young person that is working for them, going through their professional training, their culture training, their manager training, whatever it might be, every time I meet one of these people that are hanging out in the Atlanta area, I'm so impressed with them. And I'm so impressed with their adoration for the leadership of a chicken sandwich company.
So you research about this, and your story about that got me interested. So you research about this, and Truett Cathy, who founded Chick-fil-A, essentially again had an absent father, and he went through all the issues of having an absent father, and then came out and started this business and began to father people.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a miracle to me.
Yeah, the orphan pain drives you to have compassion that no one else would ever have that pain.
And so I had Uncle Lou and Papa Will and Don Williams and my wife. Well, he had a guy named Theo Abbey who was, within his church, who became a father to him. Mm. And it's the same type of story of our Father intervening on his behalf. And he built one of the most amazing companies in the world. And they're closed on Sundays. And they're still profitable.
And they're just taking over the United States.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I'm looking for one of the stats that we could talk about him, but their statement of purpose is to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that's entrusted to them, and to have a positive influence on all who come into contact with Chick-fil-A by selling chicken sandwiches.
Yeah. Amazing.
So when you go there, you feel like a long-lost family member by their staff.
An honored guest.
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do. Fantastic.
Here's what I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Since 1967, Chick-fil-A has achieved tremendous success by any business standard. The company's seen more than a 10% sales increase year over year since 1967. They lead the fast food industry in sales per restaurant. And almost even more impressive, the franchisee retention rate has been 96% for 50 years.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, that's that loyalty. That's that loyalty. Now, when you participate in an environment that meets the needs that you and the people you care about have, why would you leave?
Mm-hmm. And you experience that covenant relationship at Bethel and at Jesus Culture and everywhere you go.
Yeah. I've been running with a group of people for nearly 40 years. I'll always be part of it. It's in my blood. It's my family.
And so when you have disputes with them, you're not thinking about, well, tomorrow, I'm not going to talk to them tomorrow or the next day. You're thinking, I've been in a relationship with them for almost 40 years.
This will work out somehow. Yeah, we've been through some blood and guts. This is going to work out somehow. I don't know exactly how, but it's going to work out. And we're not alone. We're not alone. We're all part of the family with the same Father. We're going to work this out.
Yeah, it's amazing. And coming back to the notion of having close friends and having people that you can be, not that you're forced to be accountable to, but you want to be accountable to, that you want them to know every nuance in your life. So if you start going off out of your lane or off the rails, they're going to shake you and say, what's going on? And Dabo Sweeney had that, and Truett Cathy had that, and I was lucky enough to have that. I know you did. Mm-hmm. And it's worth the relational risk to ask people who have more experience than you, who are older than you, who are friends of yours into your life. I always thought that once I dumped my bucket and told my future friend all about me that, hey, here's who I am. I just waited for them to say, oh, well, that's nice. Let's have lunch sometime next month, maybe never. But I found that no one did that.
Yeah. Well, I think the courage to stay in there and to build real relationships, to go in there and to face the lies and apply the truth. I think this would be, one of the things I hope that everybody that has stayed with us this far, I pray that is a benefit, that you would have courage to face the lies that have tried to limit you, and that you would step into vulnerability, step into honor, step into the goodness of God, and get free and get strong. I hope that you feel powerful, and that you refuse to be intimidated, to stay stuck or to keep making excuses, and that you build literally a culture of honor around you as you lead people and as you show people around you the Father. And I pray that you encounter the Father's heart. I pray that you see Him for who He is, and not through the lens of maybe how you were fathered, but that you truly get to know that you're worth dying for. I pray that you and your teams get freed from isolation and shame, and that no longer are you under the reaction of those lies, or afraid to come out into the light and to build covenant relationships. And if you would take up the challenge to bring the heart of honor to the business culture, and be part of the reformation, really, of taking back the reputation of the business world as not a place where people go to be used for the consumption of an orphan leader, but you literally create families where people feel loved and they feel empowered and purposeful under your leadership. That's my prayer for everyone who's come this far with us and who's read this book. I think that, as we've worked together to write this, that would be the goal I think that both of us have. And why don't you leave us with a charge?
A charge?
Charge.
On page 185, I have some declarations that I'm going to read. You are no longer an orphan. You're a son or daughter of a loving Father. It's time to take ownership of the relational culture and legacy that you are building. It's time to leave all shame, mistrust, powerlessness, and poverty thinking behind, and choose the path of being courageous, vulnerable, trusting, powerful, and thinking with a wealthy mindset. It's time to start closing the gap between the moment you're in fear and the moment you choose to trust the Father. Refuse to isolate yourself and disconnect. Pursue connection with everything in you. Find fierce friends who will ask you the hard questions about your heart that you need to answer. Practice into me you see, and let those friends know you. Forgive those who have hurt you. Clean up your mess. Listen well. Be humble and adjust to serve people well. Be powerful in saying what you will do and then doing it. Lead with honor. Show the world who your Father is. Thank you so much for buying this book and for signing up for this program. I'm honored that you would read it, and pray that it has had an impact on your life.
And be sure to do the activations for each section. I mean, they're there for a purpose, and just spend time prayerfully meditating as you go through that, because we think that they allow your heart to be affected as you spend time there.
Good job. Thank you.
Yeah.
You did it.